Are you noticing a difference? I'm noticing that more and more people are coming up to me or messaging and emailing, go, God, I'm watching yours. And even the celebrities seem to be watching our kind of stuff and going back on that wokeness. Ash Sarkar famously last week sort of announced and started saying as if she was never part of that almost. And Catherine Ryan, do you know that? I think she's Canadian, the comedian, also came out with something today. So all that wokeness, and everyone's sharing videos of her and many of the others like saying transvestites need to be able to get changed in women's toilets and things like that. Does it speak to that what I was saying before about that sort of fashion, and that wokeness is out of fashion now?
Yeah, it's selective. The withdrawal from wokeness is selective. So the side that were promoting wokeness, they are gonna now focus on other wokeness. So, for example, the conversations about public toilets, women's spaces, it was always a losing argument for the woke side. It was just a matter of time for it to fall apart. That's why you actually have some people. So there's a difference between, for example, communists, like proper far left people, and the liberal wokey people. So the Ash Sarkar type people, the Novara media types, they're more on the radical left. So actually, they even a few years ago, they used to basically make videos. Their argument was they weren't really on the side of the more middle class liberal wokey side.
Okay.
Their focus is mostly on race. So they're going to move to that in terms of wokeness, away from the rainbow, but towards race. And they're going to include Islam and Muslim into race.
Okay.
Even though Islam is not a race.
That's scary.
Yeah. So
this is scarier than the trans argument as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And it'll be more difficult for both sides to actually win. So the trans argument in terms of the obvious clashes, which was, again, women's spaces and, the young people telling them what to do with their body and brainwashing, that was easy to win for the non-woke side. When it gets to a point where it's going to be moving, so even the BLM one was actually easy to win, because the BLM one was mostly led by the middle class far leftists. And they were saying a random person who's a bit dark, born in middle class LA, who is, by the way, not fully dark, it's basically generational. They've already been mixed anyway, like Meghan Markle, right?
Yeah.
She's not black.
Yeah.
She's as black as she's white, right? But they say she's black. That argument was also, like the trans debate, was never going to be won by the woke side, because the BLM stuff was very privileged. Like, it's just like you just fighting a fight that doesn't exist. But the new version of identity politics, well, it's not new in terms of new focus, which is just overall ethnic minorities, and especially basically anybody who's brown and Muslim. This is going to be what the focus from the woke side is going to go on now. Islamophobia.
I see. And then the right, or at least the anti-woke side, seems to be winning this culture war. Obviously, Trump makes a difference. Often you have politics downstream of culture, but in this instance, I think it's culture downstream of politics. Trump gets in, it changes the Overton window, everybody moves a little bit. And once, it feels like when the left got into power, I suppose, at least culturally, the last 15 years, culturally, it's all been very leftist. They fractured a little bit. There's that sort of extreme edge and the centrists who didn't really do much about them. Now we have this right. I mean, were you at ARC? Did I see you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see you, did I?
Not at the conference. I was at the after party.
Yeah, very typical Tousi. Okay, well, I was at the boring bit and not at the party. Yeah. But at the boring bit, it was very interesting to see like such a diverse array of people all together, I think, against this kind of wokeness. And it led me to think, in a few years' time, are we all going to be fractured? Because you got it looked like a chessboard at times with all the bishops and things everywhere. And I thought, that's not my place, and you've got your Jordan Petersons who he was sort of preaching in a Christian way. And then you've got your Douglas Murrays and Constantine who are talking very in a secular sense.
Yep.
And I thought this might not be able to, are we going to go back to the old battle lines?
No. This is actually a good thing. So I'll explain why. The variety of different versions that you have on the so-called right, if you can call it right, it's just basically anti-left. It actually helps. This is what's helped to even create Trumpism. So the people will call it reactionary politics, but it's not. It's basic populism, which is a good thing. And there should be a limit, by the way. So the creation of Trump. So before you had a character like Bill Clinton or Tony Blair, they were in the position of authority. They would shape the agenda. They would convince the public this is the right thing to do. And then public would say, okay, cool, because the authority told me. That side, they're still doing that, and they wonder why they keep losing. Because the other side, and it's not just Trump, it's also Javier Milei and many others. They're not all same politics, but they're basically more populistic. It comes from the bottom up. And it actually started with the original version of new media. And that also includes new media radio, which was Rush, and obviously since then Alex Jones. It's been going on for ages. And you had bulldozers. You always needed bulldozers, and even you still have bulldozers to bring down the gate, say something outrageous, and then you need the Douglas Murrays and the Constantines to go and win the actual argument. So it's a good thing right now. You have this weird mix of, you look at it like they're all in the same room, like how are they going to get along?
Yeah.
Actually, everybody's in his own place. Sometimes there are clashes, like, they'll have a fight, like, I don't know, like right now, like Tucker Carlson will have a disagreement with Ben Shapiro, but mostly they know their places.